Hi guys, this is going to be your web app guide for the next game. It should be out in 7 or 8 days, so that's why we're getting started now. The web app, when it comes out and you load it up first time, you always get that one screen that has a bunch of different nations on it: England, Brazil, Argentina, France, etc. All that does is decide what country you get your first random bunch of players from. It's always bronzes, silvers, maybe the odd common gold that's no use at all for actually playing. What they're useful for is for the first set of SBCs. So you always want to pick a top nation, something like Argentina or Brazil. They just have a load of players sort of scattered uh, throughout all the different leagues. Therefore, you have more chance of being able to complete the starter SBCs nice and easy. So you pick one of them. Your next option is picking kits and stuff like that. The kits you want to choose, you always want to choose a more popular team, something like PSG, Man United, Bayern Munich. The reason being, those kits will be rare in quality, so they'll quick sell for more. At this stage of the game, nobody's buying kits, nobody can play the game, so nobody's buying players for their team, let alone a kit. So you quick sell them for what they sell for, and then you move on to your welcome packs and your pre-season packs and whatever else you get. Pretty sure that all the pre-season stuff is untradeable, so that's not going to make any difference to you. But you do get a few, normally get a few tradable packs as welcome packs, stuff like that. So you want to get selling those players immediately. Most of the players you will probably quick sell unless you get really lucky and you pack Mbappe or someone. Obviously, if you pack Mbappe, probably you want to keep him. Maybe it is worth selling him. It depends what price he is. For example, Mbappe, when the full game comes out, he's obviously going to rise, but he may not rise anywhere near as much as some of the other players did, like Haaland or Vinny or something like that. So that'll be a bit of a judgment call. Feel free to get in contact with me. But let's say you did pack Mbappe, he's worth a mil at the start. Maybe when the full game is out, he'd be worth 2 mil, 2.5, who knows. Anyway, sell him and just buy a load of Vinny's, Haaland's, etc. because they have a much higher chance of actually sort of quadrupling, or actually Haaland went up 10 times his value last year. So anyway, that's it. That's all we're doing when the game first comes out, trying to grind coins to buy investments like Haaland, Vinny, etc. And doing that is often a little painful, especially when the game first comes out. In previous years, these SBCs that I'm kind of showing you one of the solutions for here, the foundation SBCs, the rewards were tradable in previous years. These packs here, probably everyone's done these SBCs. Everyone knows they're annoying to complete. Their puzzles. You have to complete them with, say, 11 different leagues. So Argentinian players from 11 different leagues, for example. The reason being that they're difficult. The reason being that this year, when they were untradeable, it put a slight irritation in traders, is because nowhere near as many people were completing the SBCs because you would only get untradeable rewards, and as we already said, nobody actually has the game. Nobody can actually play the game. So no one wants to put what little coins they have into untradeable players when they can't even play the game. So we're hoping they're tradable again this year. If not, there is still methods to make coins. They're just a little more painful unless solution trading has a little bit of life in it, which it did sometime for some of the time last year. So we did actually have a whole bunch of foundation SBCs last time. I don't remember specifically which one it is, and Footbin doesn't still have the requirements here, so I don't know which one it was. But anyway, there was one that had a left mid, a centre mid, and a right mid. Everyone was completing those because I'm pretty sure the rewards were tradable. What that meant is literally every left mid, centre mid, and right mid in the game went flying in price. You've got to remember at the start of the game there's very low supply on anything because nobody's got FIFA points, nobody's got anything, so nobody's really opening packs. There's no supply. Therefore, it doesn't take much to make left mids, centre mids, right mids, etc. rise. So they rose because of this SBC. What a lot of people did, me included, was bidding and sniping on bronze, left mids, centre mids, right mids, literally just looking to make like 100 coins plus per card. 100 coins goes pretty far right at the start of the game. It sounds silly, but if you're making 100 coins quickly, 100 players, that's 10k. If you're able to snipe them and sell them quickly, that's not a problem at all. 10k is amazing. Haaland at the start of the game was 40k. 10k 4 times is a Haaland. Haaland went from 40k to 400k. So you can see why we have to grind at the start of the game. You don't have to, but it is worth it. It puts you on much better footing. You can, when the game is actually out, you can start off with a mil plus. You can start with some great players if so inclined. If you're more into trading, you start with a much better balance. Anyway, the Foundations SBC came out and everyone was buying bronze players. What also worked was opening bronze packs, because you get 3 to 4 bronze players per pack generally. Obviously, every time you hit a left mid, right mid, or centre mid, you made good coins. On some of the others, you would make small coins. So a lot of people were just spamming that. Solution trading did work a little, but I'll be giving specific examples when the game is out for that. I'm also going to do a separate solutions trading video just because it's a little more complex and a lot of people struggle to get it. They don't even bother with it because they don't understand it, or they think it's too hard, or they've had bad experiences, or whatever. So we'll try and simplify that for you, and then hopefully you will lose any fee you had, give it a go, and make lots of coins. So what solution trading is basically taking an SBC, any popular SBC, that's the important thing, from Futbin, finding a solution to it. Always has to be the cheapest, obviously. People don't go on Futbin and look for the most expensive SBC solution, they look for the cheapest. So let's just go here, for example. So this is actually one of the most difficult ones to complete, the first 11. You need 11 different leagues, 7 rares, everyone has to be gold, and high chemistry. So there was actually only a couple solutions, not a couple, maybe 4 solutions for this at the start. It was Argentinian team, there was a French option, and there may have been a Brazil option as well. I'm not remembering correctly, but it probably was. So there really wasn't that many different solutions, therefore the players flew that were crucial. So because it's 11 different leagues, obviously the top leagues are going to have more players in them. So you're going to have an Argentinian player in the Italian league. You've probably got 10 maybe. Same with the French league, probably got 5 plus, and so on. It's going to be the more obscure leagues like the Spanish second league, or the MLS, or where's this guy from? The Argentinian league, or Libertor league, etc., where there's less options, and the less options there are, the more likely a player is to rise, just because of rarity and being necessary. One of the examples of this is this guy here, Jean Boutez, gold from a top nation in a very obscure league, in the Belgium First League. There isn't that many gold cards in this league for a start, and he is the only French one. Therefore, what did he do at the start of the year? He was 300 coins for a bunch of days, and then as soon as the game was actually released and people could play the game, therefore completed those SBCs that are untradeable, he flew. He went 10 times his price, same as Haaland. So that's why there's going to be a few different options this year, as there is every year, for your investments. You can either spread them, which is always suggested because it minimizes your risk and makes you more likely to hit something that flies. let's say there was only 10 different investments. If only two of them fly and you spread your investment across two, you've got a much higher chance of uh, you will at least make some profit, rather than if you just invested in one of them, one or two of them, your chances of getting a rise are much lower. So anyway, this is one of the options for investing, as I've just finished saying at the start of the game, before the full game comes out. You can buy this kind of player and hope that he rises. Normally they do. It is slightly more risky than buying a Haaland or Vinicius, for example, because these players always just rise. The reason for that being, people just have no coins when the game starts. They don't actually have the game, so nobody's making a team. No one makes a team if you can't actually play with it. So for those two reasons, every meta player starts low and rises with time. So here, same happened with Vinny. Vinny was actually 50k when the web app was out. I do remember, as obviously I was trying to buy him. So yeah, he went from 50 to 300 times 6. That's great. Booters did a times 10. There's no guarantee this year that Booters will be the same. It will be the same situation with him, especially this year as we have a whole load of women in the game. So what that means is a huge influx of players. It may be much easier to complete these SBCs, so there'll be more options. More options means less rise on a player like this, because if there's more options, they're not so necessary, they're not so crucial, specifically this player, for example. So we'll see. The full database actually comes out in 3 days, so that will give me a good chance to look through and find this kind of gem. It's pretty easy. All you need to do is look at the smaller leagues, not the Prem, not the top leagues. You want something uncommon. It needs to be a gold, generally a common card, but rare will often be fine as well. Top nation, and it's best if there's no other cards of that nation in that league. So Boots is a prime example. There is no other French players. There's also no Brazilians or no English, or it's literally just Belgians. There's a few Dutch people and some other very obscure nations that are obviously not going to be useful for this SBC anyway. So I think I've covered a few ways to make coins when you start the game. It's basically looking for filters to try and make 100, 200 coins here and there. Obviously, if you can make even more, that's great. But that's the sort of minimum we're looking for. Obviously, you don't want to be sitting there trying to make 7 coins a card or something. 100 is pretty much the minimum we want to make. So yeah, bidding, sniping, cards like this, solutions trading, if that's working. I'll obviously be letting you know if it is and giving you a whole bunch of examples of which players are good. So I'll move on quickly to some other possible investments. We've already covered SBC gems like Butes, who's just necessary for an SBC. So he held his price for more than a week at 5k. So you can buy him before the game comes out for nice and cheap, and he will rise. Same thing with meta players like Haaland, Vinny, etc. The more desired the player, the more they're going to rise. So even players like Martinelli, Diaby, Diaz from Liverpool, they're still desired, but they are more common for a start. They're a lower rating, so people will pack them more. But the more desirable a card is, the more they rise. Everyone wanted Vinny, everyone wanted Haaland, so there's more people buying them. There's much more demand, therefore they rise. All about supply and demand, as always. So Butes, Haaland, what else can you invest in? A nice cheeky one that works every year. I've only been trading for 3 years, maybe 4 years now, so I'm not 100% sure it's worked every single year, but it has worked every year I've been trading. Managers, Brazil and I want to say French, yes, French managers every single year. May change this year again, depends what year you're up to. There just isn't that many of them in packs, and they're often extinct. I'm sure most of you have probably realised this year, if you've needed a Brazil manager, they've been extinct. You've probably had to sit there sniping for a long time to try and get one. The same is true when the game comes out. People are making their teams, they need a manager. However, again, same situation here with Butes, Haaland, etc. Nobody is playing the game, nobody is making a team. Therefore, those managers are sitting there at, I don't know, 700, 800 coins. You can get them on bid 400, 500 probably, maybe even sniping them. Again, they were extinct for almost the entire year. So another nice investment to potentially times 10 your coins. Also very low risk. You don't have to build up 40k to buy them. You can buy, them if and when you have coins. So I would show you on Footbin, but they obviously don't have them. That's another reason why it works every year, because people don't know that they are so cheap when the web app is out, because it's not a hugely well-known method. I think I've covered everything in this video. Probably talked way too long. As I said, I will do a separate solutions trading video, just because it can be scary. I never used to like it. So I do understand the hesitation to not just give it a try, but I will cover that in a whole video just to give you guys some more options.